We've been talking about Cooper Flagg, 17-year-old going to Duke. He's playing against the Olympic team and holding his own. And you start to wonder about, when does somebody become a phenom? When do the parents realize this? Do they realize it before the athlete does? We've had athletes in tennis as young as, 13? Jennifer Capriati. They're there on the center stage. They're playing in big events. In fact, tennis has a lot of players, especially on the women's side of tennis, that they're able to be there and play at a high level at a younger age than the men. Track and field. You have a 16-year-old who's going to be representing the United States in track and field. Basketball is a little trickier, although you can go back to LeBron when he was 16, playing against NBA players, holding his own. Bryce Harper when he was 15 or 16 on the cover of Sports Illustrated. You just have like the genetic lottery that you hit. But then you also have to have parents who are, and they may border on being obsessive, but you have to sometimes, like Tiger's dad was obsessive with Tiger. And if you watch the documentary on Tiger, his dad tells him to break up with this girl that he really likes her. He writes her a letter and says, I got to break up with you. She's like, why? My dad told me to. He didn't want anybody or anything to get in the way of Tiger being great. You look at Venus and Serena Williams, their father. He was not going to let anything get in the way, including their upbringing in Compton. They were on 60 Minutes. And you're thinking, how are they able to be as great as they are given the surroundings that they're growing up in? But parents can be great. Parents can always ruin things too. But you have a 17-year-old kid who grew up in Maine, and he is now the number one high school player in America and projected to be the number one pick. Now, we've seen this before. Freddie Adu was a soccer player, and he was supposed to be the next great player, and he never turned out to be. I think he kind of burst on the scene at 15. You have the hits and misses, but sometimes you get that one and you go, oh my goodness, that person is destined for greatness. But the role that parents play, coaches play, and also that player himself. Because I think we all grew up with, athletes who were like, oh my God, he's so much better than everybody else. But they matured quicker. I remember playing against a guy in 8th grade and I go, I'll never be as good as him. He didn't make the freshman team. But at 8th grade, he was unbelievable. That's what happens. They stop, you continue. But then you have to want to be great. That's another thing. It's not your parents want you to be great. It's when the child wants to be great, then the parent should follow suit, not the other way around. Yes, Heaton.
That's one of the things that people had been saying about Cooper Flagg. I don't know if it was Kevin Durant or not, but somebody had said, you could just tell that this kid wants to be great. He wants it. He wants to be the guy.
And you got to have that, because I've been around parents, been around coaches, and they will tell you he just doesn't want it. It comes too easy for him. You want that kid who you got to go, Dad, can you come out, hit me grounders? Dad, can you throw me BP? Dad, would you rebound for me? You want to have that. And when you have that, then as a parent, it's exciting, because it's not like I got to drag Timmy out and have him shag flies. Come on, we're going to the driving range. I don't want, it's too hot. It's when the kid is obsessed and then you follow suit. Too many times it's parents who go, come on. Yeah, because we live vicariously through our children. If we didn't succeed, or the guy who almost had the college career, or he almost was a great high school player, now you see yourself and your son or daughter and you're like, come on, get out there and do it for me. Whether they say that or not, it is implied. You want your son or daughter to succeed. Parents take great pride in that. Hey, look what I did. Look what we did out there. But you have to have something in your mind, that DNA that says, I want to be great, and nothing is going to stop me. Because you wouldn't expect a kid in Maine to be the number one player in America in high school basketball, going into college basketball, and going to be the projected number one pick. But you wouldn't have expected Serena Williams coming out of Compton to be the best female tennis player of all time. And who's this kid, Tiger Woods? And he's going to take on everybody. And at age 2 or 3, he's on a TV show. You can't script these things. You have to have it just falls into place. But the son or the daughter and the role they play of wanting it is really key. Because a lot of times the parents want it more than the child does. All right, we'll come up with a poll question here. But, yeah, we were kind of looking at this with tennis players at Wimbledon. I mean, even 18 years of age. That's not young. Not anymore. Certainly on the female side of the draw. You know, you get 14, 15 years of age. But a male track star at 16, that's really unheard of. You'll get some fast, track and field athletes at that age, but then to go to the Olympics, that's different. So they're just certain players and certain athletes. And I always look at, the lineage here. Your dad play? Mom play? Look at Christian McCaffrey's parents and grandparents. Great athletes. Mahomes' dad. Major League Baseball player. Griffey with his father. I mean, Tiger, his dad was a athlete, not anywhere near what he is. Kobe Bryant, his dad played. Like you have that where you go, your dad play? No, my mom was All-American volleyball player. Okay. There's somewhere in the tree, the DNA tree, where you go, oh, okay. Yeah, that guy. Yes, Eden.
Brad on Twitter brings up a good one, too. He has Katie Ledecky. She won a gold medal at 15.
Yeah.
I think kind of out of nowhere.
Well, you find that, though, also with female swimmers.
That's wild.
Missy Franklin, I think, was really young. Dara Torres, there's a lot of, women mature quicker, sooner, and have that opportunity to be able to compete before, boys, we're goofy. We're gangly.
Yeah, gold medal at 15 is pretty good.
Yes. Yeah, Paulie.
I think you hit it on the head. It helps if your father or mother played basketball. I looked at Cooper Flagg. Both parents played small college basketball in Maine. So it comes from a basketball family. But the gift, when they say an athlete's gifted, was Michael Jordan gifted with leaping ability and coordination, or was his gift a maniacal desire to win and improve? LeBron's gift is being 6'8", coordinated and jacked, but also to work out like that. Or Kobe Bryant, was his gift is it basketball jumping ability and leaping ability, or being a maniac about working out? Maybe that's the gift.
But also, when you realize you have it, the question is, do you want to cultivate it? Because there are a lot of people who have a lot of talent. And I was around a woman who's a beautiful singer. And I go, why don't you do this for a living? Why don't you explore this? And she goes, I don't think so. And I go, why? And she said, I don't know. I know how to do it. I just don't know if I want to do it. And I go, okay. But that does happen. Sometimes you're good at something, but you're just good at it. That doesn't mean you want that as your job. You're not obsessed with it. Some things come natural. Yes, Eden.
My cousin Vince, when he was 13 years old, was 6'4", 250. Kid was an absolute monster. And I was like, holy crap, this kid's going to be a lineman for Notre Dame. This is amazing. He's going to the NFL. And he couldn't care less about football. He just wanted to be an accountant. And that's what he is to this day.
Yeah.
And his friends in high school, I think, made him play football because they're the coach is like, kid, you're too big. You have to play. You have to do this. But he just wanted to be an accountant. He just wanted to crunch numbers. That's what he wanted to do. He had no interest in football.
And it happens with a lot of people. You can have somebody who's great at math. They don't like math. They're just really good at math. Hey, man, you should be a scientist. I don't think so. Yeah, Todd.
Well, maybe you do like it, but you don't have the self-confidence to be able to take it to the next level.
Yeah.
And you've convinced yourself there's no way I'm going to be able to hit that kind of level of success.
Also, when you become a star, like a Little League World Series star, now all of a sudden, hey, what happened to you? Everybody catches up to you. That's the difference between I'm really good at a really young age. I'm 12. Now what happens? And we've seen a lot of these athletes, certainly Little League World Series, you're like, man, was he great? Oh, did he play high school baseball? Little bit. Didn't play in college. Yes, he.
That kid yesterday, Lamine Yamal, plays for Spain, plays for Barcelona. That kid is an absolute superstar, and he hit a banger yesterday to
And
score.
he's 16?
16.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's one of the stories about the Euros so far that people have been laughing about is that, or at least like, leading up to this was that he had to do his homework all the time. Like Lamine Yamal's busy doing his homework while his teammates are like out getting dinner or something. He's like, I got a test or whatever. And he's an absolute superstar, 16.
But like Michael Jackson, he was in a musical family. But, his dad, Joe, had to go, man, Mike's special. And he was. Like, there's just certain prodigies where you just see it and you go, how is that? Why did he get all the talent? His brothers are just playing instruments. It's just you win the genetic pool. You win the lottery. And that's exactly what happens with a lot of these talented athletes, musicians, artists. There's certain kids where you go, wait, he's graduating from college with 4 degrees at 12? Yeah. How? I barely got out of 8th grade. Yes, Paul.
And sometimes you think maybe it's just destiny. Like Michael Jordan's the only person in his family over 5'10". I think you've met his brother. His brother's like 5'8".
Yeah.
All his parents and relatives were all like 5'7", 5'8", 5'9". And then there's this 6'6" guy who becomes the greatest player of all time. It doesn't make sense. Or like Serena and Venus Williams. Venus Williams had a very good career, not diminishing it. A very good career. Serena had the greatest career of all time. What's the difference? Like they both were raised in the same household with the same tennis lessons, with the same dad.
They're built different.
Right. But is it
Venus
mentally?
Venus is the older type tennis player with her style. Serena was power. You'd never seen that before. You have to go back to Martina. She ushered in power. And Serena took that, and it was just nobody was playing like that. And also, sometimes you get the younger sibling who succeeds or is a better athlete, better performer, whatever it might be, but they benefited by being the younger sibling there. You get to see your brother or sister. So it's just kind of fascinating that you look. Now, and we're also in an era of sports where we have Tom Brady's playing until he's 45. LeBron at 40. It's not out of the question where you go, golly, these guys are still playing at a high level. Djokovic, he's old in tennis, still playing at a very high level. But that's what's amazing. You got both ends of the spectrum. Now, it didn't used to be where you had players in their upper 30s, early 40s, still at the top of their game. That's new in the last, 10 to 15 years, maybe 10 years. As far as phenoms, somebody who's 12, 13, 14, 15, that's been around for a long, long time and will continue. But also, you're looking at sometimes families attach their financial future to somebody who's really young. Hey, he's a really good golfer. We're going to move around. He's going to go to a different high school. We're going to move. Then all of a sudden, you're putting pressure on that kid at 12 or 13, 14, 15. You got to succeed. We're counting on you. You see this with actors in Hollywood. Hey, you're 9 and you're on a sitcom. We're following you. Yeah, Seton.
There is some of that, though, where, it's not for everybody. There's obviously not just one path to get to where we're talking about, but the only way for some people that you can get there is to be all in. If you're kind of like, well, okay, yeah, give the basketball thing a try or give the acting thing a try, but after college. Well, now it's too late. Or, you know what I mean? There's times that you have to go all in at 12 years old and move your family from Massachusetts to California because Tom House is going to start training your kid. Okay, well, yeah, this is how we have to do it. You have to be all in.
And Cooper Flagg's parents had to be all in that he's leaving from Maine to go to Florida and doing that a couple of years ago. And here he is, 17 years of age. But I always go back to Todd Marinovich and his dad, Marv Marinovich, and he wanted his son to be robo quarterback. And Todd did succeed. He was a good USC quarterback, and I think he played in some playoff games with the Raiders. Of course, he's had some personal problems as well. I don't know if his father pushing him fed into that. Like he didn't have McDonald's. Like he was famous for never had processed food, and He just wanted to live his life and be normal. He just didn't know what normal was. So parents can sometimes ruin it. But when you have something special, someone special, that's what's interesting. Now, what role do you play? But I always go back to, how bad do you want it? Because if you want it, then I'm going to want it. But I don't want to be the one waking you up, dragging you around the country, going to AAU events, playing in soccer matches in 4 different states, hockey travel. I mean, parents are wonderful when they're accommodating their son or daughter. It's when it becomes about them, that's when it's a problem.